goodness me.
Stick it on and send him out.
No one's there waiting for him.
Oh, and he locks up his front wheel.
Picture this. You're watching Formula One heart racing as cars scream into the pits at 60 miles per hour, and suddenly everything goes horribly wrong. A mechanic screams, a car catches fire, or a wheel goes flying like a cannonball through the air. What you're witnessing isn't just a mechanical failure, it's a split-second moment where someone's life hangs in the balance. I'm about to take you inside the most terrifying pit box incidents that changed Formula One forever. Number 1. The inferno that nearly killed a future champion's father. Let me take you back to July 31st, 1994 at the Hockenheimring in Germany. Jos Verstappen, yes, Max Verstappen's father, was having what should have been a routine pit stop. But in Formula One, routine can turn into a nightmare faster than you can blink. As Jos pulled into his Benetton pit box, everything seemed normal. The mechanics swarmed the car like a choreographed dance they'd performed thousands of times. But then, in a split second that would haunt everyone present, fuel began spraying everywhere. The highly volatile racing fuel hit the scorching hot brake discs and exhaust, and suddenly, Jos Verstappen was sitting in the middle of a raging inferno. The images are absolutely terrifying. Flames engulfed the entire car while Jos sat trapped inside, his visor slightly open because he always lifted it during pit stops to get fresh air. The irony is chilling. The thing he did for comfort nearly cost him his life. Mechanics ran for their lives, some with their overalls literally on fire, while others heroically rushed in with extinguishers. Here's what you need to understand about fire safety. If you ever see fuel spill, get away immediately. Fuel doesn't need an open flame. Hot metal is enough to ignite it. Jos survived because the fire was extinguished in just 3 seconds, but those 3 seconds felt like an eternity. What makes this even more incredible is that Jos walked away with only minor burns to his nose and around his eyes. The investigation later revealed that Benetton had been using an illegal fuel valve that allowed fuel to flow 12.5% faster than legal valves, contributing to the accident. Number 2. The moment that broke a championship dream. Fast forward to September 28, 2008, Singapore Grand Prix. Felipe Massa was leading the championship fight against Lewis Hamilton by just 1 point. This was the first ever night race in Formula One, and Massa had pole position. Everything was perfect for a championship-defining moment. Then came the pit stop that changed everything. Massa came in during a safety car period, and Ferrari's electronic light system gave him the green light to go. But the fuel hose was still connected to his car. As Massa accelerated away, the fuel hose was ripped from its housing, spraying fuel across the pit lane and dragging a mechanic who was still attached to it. The sight was surreal. A Ferrari racing down the pit lane with a fuel hose trailing behind it, fuel spraying everywhere, and mechanics running desperately after the car. Massa had to stop at the end of the pit lane while his crew ran the entire length to disconnect the hose. That incident cost Massa crucial points and ultimately the championship. He finished 13th and lost the title to Hamilton by just 1 point at the season's end. The mechanic who was dragged broke down crying, and Massa himself had to console him. What went wrong? Ferrari had switched from using a physical lollipop board to an electronic light system. The light malfunctioned and turned green while fueling was still happening. After this incident, Ferrari made it impossible to manually override the system if the fuel hose was still attached. Number 3. The injury that changed modern F1 safety. April 8, 2018, Bahrain Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen was having his second pit stop of the race, running in third place with a real chance at a podium. The Ferrari pit crew moved with their usual precision, but something went catastrophically wrong with the left rear wheel. Francesco Cigarini, the mechanic responsible for the left rear wheel, was still struggling with a cross-threaded wheel nut when the electronic sensors somehow registered that the wheel was properly attached. The green light came on, Kimi got the signal to go, and he accelerated directly into Cigarini. The impact was brutal. Cigarini was knocked to the ground, his left leg completely shattered. Both the tibia and fibula were broken. He was lying on his back in obvious agony while the Ferrari crew realized what had happened. Kimi immediately stopped his car, but the damage was done. Even after having his leg broken by a Formula One car, Cigarini's gratitude shone through after surgery, thanking everyone for their concern. The technical failure, Ferrari's sensor system thought the wheel had been changed because the wheel gun had been engaged and then disengaged, even though the wheel nut was cross-threaded and not properly secured. Number 4. When wheels become deadly projectiles. July 7, 2013, German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Mark Webber was running second when he came in for what should have been a routine tire change, but as we've learned, routine in Formula One is a dangerous word. The Red Bull crew began their perfectly choreographed pit stop, but something went wrong with the right rear wheel. The wheel wasn't properly secured, but Webber got the signal to go. As he accelerated out of the pit box, the 10-kilogram wheel detached and bounced down the pit lane at 100 kilometers per hour. British cameraman Paul Allen was standing in the Mercedes pit area, completely focused on filming the action, when the runaway wheel struck him from behind. The impact sent him flying, breaking his collarbone and several ribs. He was conscious but in severe pain as medical staff rushed to help him. This incident led to an immediate ban on media personnel in the pit lane during sessions. The FIA also mandated that all personnel in the pit lane wear helmets. Number 5. The accident that defied physics. April 16, 2010, Chinese Grand Prix practice session. Sebastian Buemi was hammering down the 1.1-kilometer back straight in his Toro Rosso, approaching 200 miles per hour. What happened next was so bizarre that nobody had ever seen anything like it. As Buemi hit the brakes, both front wheels simultaneously detached from his car and flew into the grandstands. Both wheels. At the same time, the car immediately became a passenger, sliding on its belly with Buemi still trying to steer, but the steering wheel wasn't connected to anything. Toro Rosso had introduced new lightweight uprights to save weight. The right front upright failed first under massive braking loads, shifting all the force to the left front upright, which failed a split second later. The wheel tethers, cables designed to keep wheels attached, were useless because they were attached to the uprights that broke. Buemi's reaction was remarkably calm. There was no warning. I went down the back straight and hit my maximum speed, and then when I came into the braking zone, both wheels suddenly came off and that was it. This incident shows why F1 constantly evolves its safety measures. The runoff areas and the car's ability to slide safely are designed for exactly these scenarios. Number 6 indices the pit stop that became a deadly collision course. November 1st, 2020, Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Lance Stroll was having a difficult race after first lap contact. Coming in for his final pit stop, he faced a perfect storm leading to disaster. Stroll's brakes were ice cold from the slow in-lap, and as he approached his pit box, he couldn't slow down fast enough. He overshot the box and slammed directly into his front jackman, sending the mechanic flying backward. The impact looked devastating, but fortunately, the mechanic only suffered bruises and returned to work shortly after. Stroll's reaction on the radio focused on the technical issue. "Sorry about that. Thanks. Brakes were really cold." Cold brakes provide significantly less stopping power than warm ones. Stroll's slow in-lap caused the brakes to cool, reducing performance at the critical moment. Number 7. The tragedy that changed everything. May 15, 1981, Belgian Grand Prix at Zolder. This is a story F1 tries to forget, but it cost a young man his life and forever changed pit lane safety. Giovanni Amadeo, just 21, was working as a mechanic for Osella. The narrow, dangerous pit lane was notorious. During Friday practice, Amadeo slipped from a ledge and fell directly into the path of a car, suffering a double skull fracture. He died 3 days later in the hospital. His death led to immediate protests about pit lane safety, but it took another accident during the race to force real change. Another mechanic, David Luckett, was hit while trying to start a stalled car and suffered 2 broken legs. Number 8. The double disaster that broke hearts. March 25th, 2018, Australian Grand Prix. Haas F1 was on the verge of their best ever result. Both cars running in the points retired within laps due to identical failures. First, Kevin Magnussen's left rear wheel wasn't properly secured due to a cross-threaded wheel nut. Then Romain Grosjean's front left wheel came loose for the same reason. Both had to retire, costing the team a huge haul of points. Cross-threading occurs when the wheel nut isn't properly aligned. In a 2.5-second pit stop, there's no time to double-check. Number 9. The hero who paid the ultimate price. Spanish Grand Prix 2000. Nigel Stepney, Ferrari's chief mechanic, was responsible for Schumacher's pit stops. During a stop, a miscommunication led to Stepney being dragged under Schumacher's car as he rejoined the race. Fortunately, Stepney survived, but his leg was injured. This incident contributed to improved communication systems in pit stops, showing the dedication and risk these mechanics take. Every safety protocol in Formula One exists because someone got hurt or killed. Every helmet requirement, every fire extinguisher placement, every communication system was implemented after tragedy struck. If you want to see more F1 stories, consider subscribing. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're here till the end.